Hello everyone, this is Jim, KC9VKV. This will not be a normal Qso-Vlog net recording for this week because I was called away on assignment. But I do have some highlights of our past Qso-Vlog net recordings that I would like to share with you. First, I would like to pay tribute once again to my good buddy and sidekick for many years, CHARLEY-K1GZL. Charlie helped us open up the Qso-Vlog net with many fine DX air checks and many fine QSOs with Captain Mike, Jet Aeronautical Mobile. Here is our original tribute to Charlie, K1GZL, SK. Well, it saddens me to report that my good friend and fellow ham, Charlie, K1GZL, became an SK last Friday morning at 6:15 a.m. Charlie was 91 years old and headed for 92 in July. He had been quite ill for some time, but Charlie was a great ham, having dedicated his whole life to amateur radio. His passing is a great loss to our radio community and to me personally. The term SK rings much deeper now that it's associated with K1GZL. May he continue to have good propagation in whatever form that takes. I first met Charlie back in October of 2018, and in our first conversation he talked about working for the American Radio Relay League, better known as the ARRL, back in 1951. He did not last long there. It had something to do with putting up the wrong code practice tape, which was broadcast around the world. The problem was it was running at a much higher speed than announced. It was near triple what was supposed to be, but Charlie had already left the building and only learned about it later after many unhappy code copiers could not copy the code transmission for that evening. But then nobody's perfect and we all make mistakes, and Charlie would laugh about it later, saying, "Well, what do you expect from a phone guy?" Charlie's amateur radio career dates back to 1948, when he was just a lad with his dad. His father was a ham radio operator also, and helped Charlie along the way. There was a large map of the world in his father's radio shack, and it was covered with thumbtacks that represented radio contacts that they had made around the world. And I'm sure that played a major part in Charlie's love for DXing. Part of Charlie's ham radio career included running phone patches to folks up in the cold Arctic Circle. But his favorite contacts were down under, meaning ARTICULATION. And if it wasn't Australia, it was Tasmania. And sometimes these contacts were made with as little as 84 milliwatts for a 10,000-mile trip. In addition to his Aussie and Tasmanian friends, Charlie also had a lot of friends in this country, like Craig, WA3ZDI, and Jim, WA3FET. But one friend he always enjoyed talking to the most was Captain Mike up in the Jet Aeronautical Mobile. And in addition, believe it or not, Charlie was even talking to the birds up there in his home QTH of Clarksville, New Hampshire. These birds were honking out CW, and Charlie was copying the mail. He said they sure transmitted a lot of D's for some reason. Charlie's QTH looked more like a sailboat marina than a house. What with all those kinds of antennas that he was working on, indeed, he was an antenna specialist, an antenna master. But how he maintained all those antennas is a story within itself. Well, all said and done, I will greatly miss Charlie, K1GZL, and it was always a pleasure when he joined me in opening up our Qso-Vlog network. I just want to say thanks, Charlie, for a great 6-year run on my Qso-Vlog network. You will be missed. Rest in peace. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.